Lewis, last game, obviously, and it's not just this one, but in recent games, you've been in really, really good spots. The ball just hasn't fallen your way a little bit. Mentally, when you go back to training after things like that, how do you keep yourself level so it's not something that kind of constantly eats at you?
Yeah, that's just football, you know. The balls have fallen. To be honest, it's something I need to do better with. Yeah, that's just how it goes when you're forward. Things go your way sometimes. Sometimes they don't. But it's always about making sure you're ready for the next chance. And of course, I should have scored the other night. No one's harder on myself than I am. So, but I'm excited to have another chance. And this weekend, when one falls to me, I'll be expecting myself to score.
Yeah. You're in a unique position in that you've seen your playoff opponent twice very, very recently. So the last game of regular season, now in game one. How comfortable are you feeling playing against their defense now that you've seen them both home and away?
Yeah, I mean, they're obviously a really tough opponent. I think coming into the playoffs, most people probably had them as one of the favourites to win the whole thing, and we take a lot of confidence in that performance. Even the game that we lost last regular season, game of this last game of the regular season, we performed very well in the second half. The first half wasn't what we expected of ourselves, but we've now put together three really solid halves of football against them, and we know what to expect. We know they're a really good side. We know they're going to make adjustments, and we just need to be ready with the same tenacity and the same energy that we brought to the game the other night.
You know you can score against them. A lot of people pick them as like they're either their favorite for MLS Cup or the one right below after Miami. Um, how good is it for your confidence to know that you can score goals against a team as good as Columbus?
Yeah, I mean, we have confidence all the time, and like you say, one of the favourites for everything. We were under no illusions it was going to be a tough test, and the first game was tough, but I think we deserved the win. And now we come home to our arena, and we're looking to try and win the game again. That's what it's all about this time of the season. We know we can beat them. They know they can beat us as well. They've done it. We've done it to them, and it makes for a really good game. And I'm excited to play on at the weekend.
Next, we'll go to Voss on Zoom.
How's it going, Lewis? Best of luck this Saturday. Just had a bit of a two-parter for you. First, I wanted to ask you about, I mentioned to Coach, about the ability to not look too far ahead for the team. You guys did a really good job on the past game after the match to really stay level-headed and just look towards this match on Sunday. So what is it in maybe the coach's speak or the coach's talks or within the group that makes you guys so taking it day by day, game by game almost? And this is a second parter, not to touch on the lack of finishing, but mostly on your form in terms of the amount of running that you did. It was almost exhausting just watching it from home for many. And how do you just maintain that level of fitness, knowing that you have a short turnaround with a 3-game series like the one that you and Columbus are in right now?
Yeah, we know that the only thing we can control is we've got a game against Columbus on Sunday, and that's the only game we have in our minds at the moment. Anything after that is something to be dealt with afterwards. So it's pretty easy as players to focus on taking things one game at a time. I think it's probably harder sometimes for fans, especially when you get a really good result. And of course, you want to build excitement within a fan group. But as players, we always knew that was just one step we took the other night, and we've got another game against them. And we're treating every single game at this stage of the season like it's a final. So that again probably goes into the running. I think it's really a non-negotiable, especially at this time of the season. But it should be any day that you give 100%, and I've always kind of prided myself in doing that. And that's a bare minimum. I would never expect to be praised for running around. But what I would expect is myself to score. So I'm looking to correct that this weekend.
Everyone, we have time for 2 more questions with Lewis. I don't see any more hands. Does anyone have any more questions for Lou, or we'll let him go about his day? We'll go back to Voss.
And just one final question. We've seen your side really play up to their opposition this year, having notable wins against Inter Miami, SC Cincinnati away from home, and as recently this past match against a heavily favored Columbus side. What can you talk about the team's, not mentality, but the belief in each other to try to get these results when your backs are really against the wall?
Yeah, I mean, we've always got a lot of belief. I think as footballers, you always want to challenge yourself against the best sides, and those results you've said right there are why we believe. We beat Miami at home, we beat Cincinnati home and away, we've just beaten Columbus away. There's no team in this league that we can't beat. But we also know to do that we need to be at the level, and there was times this season where we fell short of that, but we have no room for error in the off season. We need to make sure that we're at the level, because we know if we are, we know that it leads to good results for us. So we can take a lot of positives, a lot of confidence from this previous victory, but Sunday's going to be a completely new game, and we need to make sure we show up. It's 0-0 again, and we need to go out and try and win the game.
And we'll finish up with Christian.
Hi, good afternoon, Louis. Best of luck on Sunday. I wanted to ask you about the team's adaptability. Coach briefly mentioned it during the press conference, saying that it's not precisely, last game wasn't precisely Rebel style, but you accommodate to your rival. How did the players take this planning? And my second question is, how important is it for you guys to see the stadium full supporting you in this match too against Columbus?
Sorry, what was the start of that again? Oh yeah, the adaptability. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think the whole team really had a good feeling from the training sessions leading up to Columbus. The manager spoke to a few of us individually and asked our opinion as players, because we'd played against Columbus, and he wanted to know the feeling that we had on the pitch in that last regular season game, and we kind of all agreed that we got the most success when we were able to get pressure on them. So we then had really, really good training sessions last week where we found a lot of success in the simulated actions, and I think that just bred confidence in everyone, and we knew that if we wanted to get something from the game, we were going to need to be aggressive when we did go. And then what was the other bit?
About having a full stadium.
Oh yeah, sorry, I'm getting tired here. Yeah, obviously as a football player you want to play in front of the biggest crowds, and especially Red Bull Arena when it's packed with our fans, it's a massive boost for us. And obviously it's a different time, it's a Sunday afternoon, but as players we would urge all the fans to come out, bring a friend, and try and pack out the stadium, because these are the games that you play the whole season for. This is what we've been competing for every single day this year, is for games like this where we can try and advance in the playoffs in front of our own fans. So we're hoping to see as many Red Bull fans as we can there this weekend.